Okay, hi everybody. It's good to see all of you and see some. I'm not seeing anybody's faces. Everybody's their face turned off. Turn your face on if you can, please, so that I can see you. And if not, that's okay too. It's okay to be shy, but it's good to see those that I can see. And thank you for being here and taking the time out of your busy day to join me. Um, as always, I'm grateful to be here and to share with you, and I'm grateful to God for giving me the ability and the gifts of that I have regarding into insight with health, and just like thankful, very very thankful that I get to do what I do and use my gifts to serve and help others. So thank you. Today's class, I hope to be like really informative, but like a whole lot of fun. And it may seem a little silly, some of the things, but I think that I have a lot to share on this subject. And I'm a very active individual, so I am outdoors a lot. So it's just, yeah, a lot of things that, like you want to think about when you are engaging in outdoor activities, especially when it's hot like this. I have my whole criteria for winter and damp weather too. Maybe we'll do that when the weather's cold again. So let's start off. So the first thing for summer is I think it is important to be outside as much as you can and outside in the sun because that's your natural source of vitamin D. It's also important to get outside in the sun as much as you can every day without sunglasses. Now, do I have sunglasses? Yes, I have an assortment of different types of sunglasses. Some I wear specifically for sporting activities, like if I'm on the water. I have a good friend who has a sailboat, and it's a lot of fun to be out there. I wear a different pair of sunglasses. I wear a whole different pair when I drive. There's one pair that looks like really cool and fashionable and cute. And then there's another pair that I wear when I either play or go to sporting things like baseball games. Um, when you're out in the sun all day, I think that can be like really, really helpful because it eliminates some glare and you're able to see better. But it also is a good thing to allow your eyes to have some exposure to the sun. The sun has like very healing properties. And, like you can even just like stare up and look a little bit and then down, and we're not practicing sun gazing here or anything like that. But it is important to just like look at the sun for a little bit and then back down. I would recommend doing that early in the morning when the sun's just not at its highest point and highest peak. But that does have a lot of different healing abilities and regenerative properties to do a little bit of sun gazing. Not going to get into like all of that right now because we have a lot of ground to cover, but you can even look that up. Um, DuckDuckGo, Brave browser, I like, and probably like any of like the new AI things would like talk about that. So that's number one. So when you're outside, and it's the peak of the day, or if you know you're going to be outside all day, you want to be prepared with your attire. Dress for it. Don't go out like this. Yes, this looks very nice, but I have an assortment of these. They're long sleeved linen. This does a dual purpose. This keeps sun off of my arms. Oops, if I can get it. But it also keeps bugs off me. If you're in any subtropical or tropical climate, this is the thing you need, a long sleeve linen. You want preferably a blouse like this that you can roll the sleeves up. So you can roll it up 3/4 or longer. And then again, with the collar in the back, because that protects the whole neck. If you have longer hair and your hair is up, that whole neck area can be exposed to sun, and that is very uncomfortable when it gets sunburned, but the linen is very nice. It's lightweight, it's cool, it's breathable, it's a natural fabric. At this time of year, you can find really expensive linen blouses at the Japanese department store. What the heck is it? Uniqlo. So I got a bunch of these at Uniqlo, some of them for $12, some of them for $9.99. Go at the end of the year, preferably, again, the lighter colors. So this is blue. Anytime we wear the color like blue or a light pink or something, it's more reflective. So ideally you want to go like a lighter color, a light purple. I have like some light pink, but the blue shades and the ones with the blue hues are going to be more reflective. So I would recommend that. Second, if you look in the back here, I got a whole slew of hats. Here's one, and it can go down, right? I got some baseball hats there. That's a blue one. Here's another baseball hat. These are good, again, if you're boating. Notice I picked the lighter color ones. I have other colors that are darker colors, but that's not what I want to wear in the sun because that makes your head more hot, and I'm choosing the lighter, more reflective colors. This is when if you want to be a little bit more fashionable, right? And here's another fun one that just like kind of like folds up and flops down. All of these are good sun hats, and just I think an important thing to have. Years ago, Denny and I used to vacation at Key West, and we would often go not too early in the season because I liked when the water was warmer. So we would hit it about maybe May, like early May or the latest. And again, we would hit Key West sometimes in September. And when we did that, it was like really super hot. I did not like putting sunscreen on my face or anything, but I always would go out with a hat. Kind of like the one that Carol's sporting right now. That's a nice hat. I like that one. But yeah, you can't go wrong with that. So for those of you who are concerned about wearing different like sunscreens and just like the quality of it, and or just you don't even like the idea of that thickness on your skin, I would definitely recommend, like wearing hats. Now, if you know you're going to be out all day, like if you're going to be on the beach all day, and especially if you're going to be out somewhere in like peak weathers, or on a boat, there's really not much undercover there. So then I would definitely recommend using some sunscreen. The sunscreens I have here are, this is one by Badger, and it's a kid's one, and it's 40 proof. I just ordered one from Babo. So I went on the EWG website. So if it's EWG verified, that means it doesn't have like, like probably as many, it doesn't have like the toxic things, the things that are known to be carcinogenic. You want one ideally with a non-nano zinc in it. And so the Babo, I found that I went and I perused and I looked at all the different ingredients. I try to stick with ingredients that have more organically sourced, and that have less ingredients. So if I found things that had like shea butter in it, and also fragrance free too, I would recommend going fragrance free because I really don't think that there is anything out there that is not artificial in fragrance. For those of you who joined us in the women's conference, Sevi spoke, and she talked a lot about fragrances. And she said too, she's like, no, she said it's like better to like have no fragrance and things. And it's very, very not so easy to find. There was another one called Mistela, and that seemed to be like a really good one too. So I could not find that in a store, but both of those products were available. Well, Babo Moms carries. It just didn't carry the one that was EWG certified. So you have to look for that little sticker because like Badger has one that's EWG certified, but not this one. So you're looking for the little thing and you looking for like those specific things in that, and then ideally um the non-nano and more organic. So I think Mostello had at least like 70% of the ingredients in that was organic, and they didn't give like the percentage of the ones in the Babel, but they both get like really super high marks. And I know that moms is usually very careful of what they buy, and like what they don't buy. So those are the things I would recommend for sunscreens. I do often like the kids sunscreens, and sometimes some of them will have green tea in it too. I think those tend to be really good. When a scene was still open, Janet used to source some really excellent quality products. So obviously, like I miss that store a whole lot. Now, you also want to be careful of your feet. So if you go out in the sun and you're like putting some stuff on your arms and here, and like maybe even your face, please don't forget your feet, because the top of the feet can get burned like really easily. You can also buy linen pants that 100% linen. They're very, very breathable, and they're usually like kind of more baggy at the bottom. That those can be either rolled up or pushed up to the knee if like you want to get some sun, but you just like want some protection, like over, like later or whatever. Or so. That being said, if you do get sunburned, the best remedy for sunburn is vinegar. And you're just going to dab it on a little, like those makeup cloths that you have. You can buy little organic cotton rounds. I like the rounds better than the cotton balls because I think they're softer and pretty super absorbent. So just like food grade vinegar will work. The white vinegar is fine. I have used brown rice vinegar and I've used sushi vinegar because that's like what was there. Basically, vinegar distributes heat and energy. So, like when we eat blanched vegetable salads and we put a little brown rice vinegar on that, that serves a purpose to further distribute the heat and the energy. Somebody asked in the chat, what's the name that has linen? If you're looking for organic linen, Mate, the label has beautiful stuff. Pact has beautiful stuff. I would wait till it's going on sale. I've got a pair on Amazon for 13.99. And they're great. So it depends on, like really like what you're using it for. If you're gonna like, like go on a sailboat, you're gonna probably get a little bit dirty. If you're doing other outdoor activity, like going to like a sporting event, or if you're doing gardening, I wear a lot of these shirts. That's why I buy them on sale if I'm out in the garden, because we've had so much moisture recently that you can't even be out there for 5 minutes without bugs biting you. And it does not matter what time of day. The sun could be out full force and like they're on me. So, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, somebody said my top choice for sunscreen. I haven't tried the Babo yet, but I ordered some and I'm going to try it because I ordered specifically the one that was EWG certified. And then I ordered Mistela. I never heard of that before, but I looked that up and I think it's Mustella. I looked that up on the EWG website and I was just looking and searching like ingredients for different things. So I thought that for me, I felt that those two products had better, just like other ingredients, even though like the site has like, it gives a full list of everything that's EWG. And what I did was I clicked on the icon for the filters, like no fragrance. So this is what like specifically, like had come up. And then some people I know have problems with coconut. So you want to make sure, like, if you're looking at something that it doesn't contain coconut, because a lot of sunscreens do. I did also YouTube things, and I saw it was a woman from India, an older woman, and she was giving like three different recipes for homemade sunblock and sunscreen, and it seemed really, really interesting. And I would like to try it sometime, but it's a fair amount of work, and I don't think it's like the work that's the issue. It would probably be sourcing the ingredients, because ideally you would want to source organic ingredients too. So a lot of times, like the do-it-yourself things, it sounds great, but then you have to do further research of, like sourcing particular ingredients. I do that in my garden. I've spent hours and hours just sourcing out different things of what's like the best natural fertilizer. If I do have to use a spray, because sometimes, you'll get gnats, or you'll get powdery mildew and different like things that come, especially with the heat and the rain. You'll get different things like that that will attack things, and you don't want to ruin your whole garden. And if it's organic, you don't want to use pesticides or even something that you buy in a store. So I always do it yourself things, where I found things on YouTube where I didn't like the idea of using blood meal and things, because I thought that was kind of gross. If it's organic gardening and the blood source comes from an animal, I think that's a little weird. I don't know what the animal was eating. Plus, I'm just like, not, that's just weird to me. So I just like source differing, and then you can like mix and match different ingredients. And what I did was like really, really good. You can probably like share that recipe sometime. Um, with the group. But it's been holding out well for a lot of my plants that are back there. But I've done do-it-yourself things for a lot of things with just like hydrogen peroxide in water and a little like drop of like natural organic dish soap. So there's just like a lot of things. But the best thing for sunburn is definitely vinegar. You just pour a little bit on the thing and then dab it on. If it's really bad, you can do a bigger space like cheesecloth and just like hold it on there. Or sometimes you can also find these dish towels that they're not great dish towels, but it's almost that muslin, that cotton muslin. It's like a natural diaper material. You could probably do that if somebody really, like was burnt badly, and just like, like compress and hold that on there. And then after sun care, again, ideally you want to try to find things that are natural to uh, you re-moisturize. A lot of people like aloe. I, again, like a lot of the natural things. I really do like the things from Trusted Healthcare Products. We had them, like on our women's conference. I love Sebi's products. I absolutely love it. I think they're just like so well made, and she just does such a wonderful job. I use all her shampoos, but she even comes out with different like face serums, and it's an oil that actually absorbs into your skin. And the amount that you use is such like a tiny little drop that it works really well. And then I like that lemon balm other oil from Trusted Healthcare Products. I use that and clean my face with that, like every night, and it just seems to keep my skin really nice. My face hasn't dried out this summer. Sometimes my arms do a little bit because, like they may be more exposed to different things. So, but you definitely want to try to do your best at sourcing natural organic lotions. Once upon a time, Sebi was making this pumpkin seed lotion that's really, really super thin and goes on really well. I'm not sure if she's still making that again, but you could look that up. It's Eco Sebi, and that would be the site. So moving on, we'll talk about footwear. So, footwear is just as important too when you're out there. You want to make sure you're wearing something that's safe. Again, this depends on your activity. If you're on a boat, you need something that's not going to slip. The same thing if you're doing other activities that are around water. Not all shoes are made equally. I've seen some flip-flops that they actually slide. I've seen sneakers that they say they're trail runners, but if you get them a little bit wet, they'll slide in the rocks. Like if you're going like through like a shallow riverbed. I know Tiva used to make really good things. Keen sometimes Merrill's, just to name a few. And then I haven't tried it, but a number of my friends like the ones that have the toes in it that resemble your bare feet. They like those a lot. And I think if you look, you can find the ones that have like proper traction. If you're out in the woods, I would highly recommend, or if you're in some really high grass area, that wear long pants, wear high socks, and I would choose white socks and light colored pants. And that is like to see any ticks that may get on you. So you do want to check yourself thoroughly after you've been in any type of wooded area. In addition to that, a baseball cap is really helpful if you're walking in the woods. That's like really important because when we used to do seminars out in Temenos, out in the Westchester area, Chester County is like really just like, like has a very high tick population. And a number of people would go out in the woods and we would tell people to try to stay on the path. But sometimes, like I've done things where like I'm not on the path because I'm foraging for like wild mushrooms or something like that. And I'm not on the path. I'm like out like in the woods and I always wore long pants. I did sometimes wear the open like Tevas, but ideally something that covers your toes so that it's protected from rocks is a little bit more helpful. Or even, like a good like hiking sneaker or hiking shoe. So when you look for that, obviously you want something that fits your foot really well, but you want something too that's comfortable. When you try it on, take the type of sock, the thickness of sock that you want to like ideally like wear with this. And then afterwards, okay, after you come out of the woods, if you do find a tick on you, you want to like remove that. There's special little devices, certain tweezers that you don't just like yank that off there. You have to like pinch the body so that it releases because you don't want just like part of a tick off, because the rest of it can still bury in you. The little ones tend to be the ones that are like the dangerous ones, the deer ticks. If you can get it off of you, try to bag it or put it in a jar because if it was on you, you may want to get the test. Um, to see if you were exposed to any type of limes. I think that those little chiggers, if anybody knows what that is, that's a tiny little thing that could look similar to a deer tick, but it's like black, and those little guys can bury right into you. I was weed whacking a yard that was like high the one time, and I watched one bury right into me, went right to the emergency room, and two people were clueless as what to do. And the one nurse was like, oh, for God's sakes, give her like this lotion. And it was like this Lindane lotion. And yeah, I did it. Years later, when I had blood tests, the person that did that was more of a naturopath doctor, but he also specialized in certain infectious disease like Lyme's. And so he tested me for Lyme's, and he said that I didn't have Lyme's or anything, but I showed some antibodies in there that I may have been exposed to Lyme at some point. I was macrobiotic at that point when that happened, so I think I may have been exposed to it, but I didn't get it and wasn't positive for it. So even if you know you were bit and you pull something off, probably I think to be safe, I would get myself tested. Also, if you were bit, you can do a kuzu drink, umesho kuzu right away, and you can rub umeboshi on the site. Uh, if you do test positive for Lyme, I would probably recommend taking the antibiotics unless you want to ahead of time research something else to do. There are other things out there. I'm not sure if ivermectin is something that probably would work because that's anti-parasitic. But I am not a doctor and I'm not going to recommend anything like medical like that. So those are tick bites. Do what you can to avoid, like not getting bit. Like cover yourself well. You can also get certain bug sprays. So we'll move on to bug sprays. So you can find a lot of natural bug sprays. Murphy's makes a good one. Here's another one by Badger, and I have that here. Badger makes some really cool products. Here are two things that I like a lot. This is a bug balm, and this is the new one. Looks like that, but it has the yellow on the top. So that's like a bug repellent. It goes on like chapstick. I like the spray too, though. And then here's the after bite that if you do get bit. So this is very helpful for mosquito bites. Um, what I do is I take this stuff, and even when I go camping, I wear long pants because mosquitoes love me. And this is another one that's good too. That's for pets. This one from Dr. Mercola. And then I know Mike Adams on the Health Ranger site has some too. I think the bug off. So there's two different things. One is something that's to spray in your vicinity in the area, but you don't spray that on you. The other's to spray on you. A lot of the pet things for fleas and ticks work really well for humans. For the longest time I had bought one, but then I never used it, like on my cats. I would put it on a spray and kind of like rub their fur down with it a little bit, but I didn't want to spray it directly on there. It was like completely natural, but it works for people too. Uh, this one I used the other day and just like sprayed my clothes. So if you know you're going out in the woods, or even like, I mean, you can get bit by different things, like there's like deer in camping. So we'd like to go to Henlopen. It's in Delaware. And so we camp, and there's like all kinds of like sand there in the sites that we camp, and then you walk like even like through the dunes, because we usually like walk to the beach, but you're going through tall grass, and deer like peruse that area. So just because you're at the beach doesn't mean you're not going to get necessarily bit. Plus, and then if you're here, the Jersey Shore, you have like those nasty brown flies that bite too. And Strathmore too has a lot of like that beachy grassy stuff. So you can just use this stuff and, like spray your clothing. You don't have to necessarily spray you, including spray your hat. So have your hat that's delegated for, this is my outdoor gear and this is what I'm going to wear. And, like that seems to work really well. So when you're looking for a bug spray, you want it to be, like DEET free. And the natural ones do really work. You just may have to like reapply more. But the best thing is long sleeved, again, something that breathes, and then, like long pants and socks. Because mosquitoes love the ankles and toes, and that itches like crazy. Okay. Yes. What did I write down here? I have one called Bugs Away. That's on the Health Ranger site. Murphy's. That you can often get. I've seen that I've seen that at Mom's, I've seen that at Whole Foods markets and other natural markets. And then I've seen that at locally Martindale's too. But I've seen that in camping stores like REI. They often carry the Murphys. And then Dr. Mercola, his site, he'll have like different things too. And then, like I said, like there's the Badger stuff. This is pretty cool. So this is an insect thing, and this is for your vicinity. So if you're sitting outside, whether you're having, like an outside party, so it's like a big stick. It looks like a cattail or a bulrush. And this is really thick. This will last several hours. I lit one of these the other night because I enjoy like sitting outside in my yard and eating out there. And I had to like knock off the tip because it lasted way longer than, like before I was ready to go back in. So Murphy's makes these sticks too. And again, on Amazon, you can find ones. I found one that it's a white container, has a spider on it, and it's called Scheme, Skeem. And that looked really, really good. It's all, again, like very natural, and it's a family-owned business. So I really like to support a lot of the family-owned businesses too. But you can find things like this in just like natural stores, like some of the supermarkets, different things. The fat ones cost a little bit more, but they last a bit longer. But the one that said Skeen, you could find, I think they had 20-inch and they had 11 inches, but that was like pretty good bang for your buck, where you could get like 50 of them for, I think, like $30. So we'll try that and see how well that works. It worked really, really well last year when we were camping, and it worked like really well in my backyard. I am told by my friend who has a place in the Poconos, that just like regular incense like is a really good deterrent too. So I would probably try cedarwood or anything with like cedarwood and lemongrass in it, because that's in a lot of these things. Catnip, like anything with a catnip scent too, is in a lot of this stuff and is a natural mosquito repellent, which is interesting because I have a lot of that growing in my yard, and the cat sits under there, and I'm thinking, I don't know how he handles it, but I guess that's how, because it's a natural bug repellent. Uh, for my kitties, I sometimes, like once a week, I'll put a little brewer's yeast in their cat food, like the powdered brewer's yeast, or you could use nutritional yeast. It's a little less expensive, but the brewer's yeast works better. So you can put that in your food too, because that's like really, really high in B vitamins. So like if you're having oatmeal, or if you're making something with like a little bit like of sauce, you can sprinkle that in there. It has a little bit of a cheesy flavor too. But it's meant to be a natural flea and tick repellent for animals. So, and if you have dogs or cats, give it a try. At the very minimum, it'll get them a really nice source for B vitamins. And my one friend had a cat too that ended up having like just like a serious flea problem, and I got him that and started putting it in the cat's food, and it really helped, and helped because she was scratching so bad that she had some spats like scratched like raw. So like you got some natural stuff, and if your pets get that, then you could just bathe them in dish detergent. That's the best thing. Please don't ever get your cat dipped or your dog dipped. And that flea stuff is it's just horribly nasty. You can buy little combs and you can comb them, and like use like the more natural stuff, or even like like you could get a collar that has herbal stuff in there. You want to just like go that route and just feed them well. Okay. So let me see. Just like so many interesting things to talk about here. So we talked about bug sprays. We talked about sunburn. If you get bitten by a mosquito, or sometimes the little gnats, the flies, you can cut some raw daikon and you can rub that on there. Radish works the same, turnip works a little less, and raw onion works as well. Uh, Personally, I would recommend getting this, get several of them, carry one in your bag. Because honestly, even if you go out to dinner somewhere and you're sitting outside, like mosquitoes will be around, like they'll get you, and it can just be like so annoying. This really takes the itch out like very quickly. And it just has it's oatmeal with like the colloidal silver. So here I have some of that. This is the sovereign silver, and they have like the sovereign silver spray too that you could get. I use things like this as natural first aid. If I cut myself, or and I do, uh, I or if I'm playing with the cat, and like like they get me, then I'll just like wash it off. The other night I was cleaning. I've been organizing and cleaning things out in my basement, and there was a window pane that I had replaced, just a tiny one from a basement window, and I had it there, and somebody moved it, and I banged into it because it was low to the ground, so I didn't see it, and had a nice long cut on my foot that healed in, like, I can't even see that it was there. And it was like a nice gash. So I just was like, oh, and I think I didn't do it because my cats got in the basement and I was trying to get them upstairs. And every time I would go one way, they would run to the other end, and then I would go to that end, and they would run there. And it was became like a game. And then I banged myself, and I'm like, ah. So I went upstairs, poured hydrogen peroxide on it right away. So hydrogen peroxide is something you definitely want to like keep around the house. I use that to sanitize different things, like just hydrogen peroxide, like in water. That you can sanitize like water bottles. You can sanitize like a water flosser with that really well. If your plants get that leaf fungus, you can do a mixture of hydrogen peroxide, just a little bit of that, some water, a dab of neem oil, and spray that on the plants, and it works like beautifully. Really, really, like helps leaf fungus too. So, but obviously, it's a natural. Like it cleans things. So if you do cut yourself, or if you do get bit, you want to clean it. Like first, and then I usually spray it with like the colloidal silver, or like one of these. If you get bruised, then arnica. There's the gel or the cream. This is kind of one of those must-have things in your repertoire, and it does. It really works. It helps with bruising. So again, things heal like really, really quickly. At least like I think. Uh, if you have a spider bite, that's a whole different thing. And I got bit by a spider camping the one year, and I thought it was a mosquito bite, and it was right here. I still have a tiny little scar that obviously you can't see on the screen here. But I rubbed Dicon on it, and it wasn't doing anything, and it itched like crazy. But then eventually it started, not right away, but like a day or two later, it started to blow up and swell up. And then I put tea tree oil it on, and it started to swell up more. I didn't try the colloidal silver, and because I probably didn't have any of that at the time. But it took a really long time. Eventually, I got a fever. But some spider bites can be really, really serious. If it starts to get like nasty looking, you want to go get that checked out. Because it can. I've seen spider bites that kind of just like open like the whole skin area. They can be like really, really dangerous. So this like really puffed up. I ended up with like this like fever and everything. And like almost everything I did. Finally, I just started like um rubbing stuff like kind of the outside. And when I like kind of sprayed this roll, it was a roll-on tea tree thing, oil thing, that was just plain, like organic tea tree oil that I did around it, and that eventually like took the swelling down. But like the spiders have like the little venom things too, and like I found out what it was because I went for a facial. I was treating myself to a facial around my birthday in August. I went for that. And I said, yeah. I said, "Oh, this thing." She's like, "Oh my God." She's let me look. She said, "It's a spider bite." She said, "Oh my gosh, you were really lucky that, like it didn't, get any bad, because so many people get like really, really sick from them." So if you notice anything like that and it kind of doesn't heal, you definitely, like want to check that sort of thing out. Now, if you do get little flaking on your skin too, which reminds me that, like from like a spot like that maybe got sunburned a little bit, you can try rubbing a little or dabbing a little castor oil on that. Castor oil is a natural inflammatory, has natural inflammatory properties, and is in some of the sunscreens. So I would just like dab a little bit of that on there, and that like heals things like really, really well. And then I have another thing that I got. It's just again like from Sebi. That's like really cool, and it comes in a little glass jar that has different things on that. It's just meant for less like like specific spots, whatever. So I don't use like I'll put that on my lips at night a little bit, or I put that on a spot that was a little. I'm gonna see what time it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's getting quite late. I guess last but not least, before we close here, regarding regarding your diet and hydrating. Uh, well, first of all, if you're out somewhere and you end up eating some sweets, oftentimes sweets bring out the itch in a bug bite. And fruit can do it too, and can make you more attractive to bugs. So, yeah, you want to kind of like maybe like watch your sweet intake. I'm not saying don't eat, like things like, but like be aware that that can definitely bring it out. So regarding hydration, so again, you want to drink water, but you don't want to drink like a ton of water like throughout the day. You want to stay hydrated, but you don't want to demineralize yourself. Being in the sun and sweating or doing any type of like physical activity outside or even like workout inside where you sweat, you're going to lose minerals. So what you can do, you can take your little glass of water and you can put a tiny little pinch of salt in there, good quality sea salt. If you have a jar or something or a water bottle, just like shake it up, and that helps keep good quality minerals in there. And I think it makes you less thirsty. If you're eating baked goods, then make sure your baked things are steamed because anything dry is also going to whip away moisture. So things that are hydrating are blanched vegetable salad, fresh salad, especially things like cucumbers in there, blanched vegetable salads with a little brown rice vinegar, sauteed leafy green vegetables, especially the succulent ones like Napa cabbage and bok choy. They're going to be more refreshing. They're going to be more juicy. Iceberg and romaine tends to be a little bit more juicy. So you don't have to have a salad exclusively like that, but you can mix different things like that in your salads. Beans are very important in the heat. And where do they eat a lot of beans? In hot climates. Like all of Latin America, like they thrive on beans. It's beans like 3 times a day, right? So you could do like beans cooked with vegetables. And that's pretty much what I have right now. Eat seasonal fruits when they're in season. Watermelon, honeydew, and cantaloupe is very, very refreshing. I'm open for questions now.
All right, if anyone has any questions for Susan, there's a couple ways that you can ask those questions. Either you can submit them directly to the chat and I can read those out loud. You can also unmute yourself and then I can call on you. We just ask that if you do unmute, just to wait to be called upon just in case there's more than one person that is unmuted at that time. So I see a question that I don't think this was brought. How much water do you recommend for summer versus winter, Susan?
Um, hmm. I mean, in winter, like you could get really dry too, because it depends on the heating. Like if you have like hot air and it's blowing around, that can make you really dry, or hot air at night. Uh, but then again, if you're sitting in air conditioner all day, Philadelphia tends to be like really humid. But if you're in AC all day, that can make you more thirsty and more dry too. And it can make your eyes dry at night. What I recommend there is, again, you could take a little castor oil and dab it on there, or some type of oil product like around and underneath the eyes. That can be, like really helpful. Um, I think that just like really depends on the person. Uh, I noticed I was outside for a really long time the other day, and I put a little bit of salt in my water, and it really helped. I did not get as thirsty, because sometimes when I don't do that, I get like really thirsty, and then I come in, I'll drink something. And when you come in from the outdoors, if you're hot like that, don't just guzzle water. It's better to take a sip and swish it around your mouth a little bit and then swallow it. Oh, incidentally, umeboshi plums too. Umeboshi plums are really helpful in the heat. So you want to use like a good source of good quality minerals, but that like offers like a really natural balance. Plus, it's like very alkalizing, like for the blood. So again, helps guard against like mosquitoes. So, yeah, I really I don't personally drink, like I can't say that I drink like 8 glasses of water a day. So when you think of liquid, you're thinking if you're having soup, that's like a form of liquid. If you're having like different vegetables that are juicy, yeah, then you don't need it as much. So you don't want to oversalt yourself either. If you eat foods that are too salty, or like a lot of like drying things, for people that like the corn chips and stuff like that, that's like really drying. Or eats a lot of like bread that's not steamed and baked things, you're gonna get, like more dry. So I don't know if I really answered the question, but I think it just depends on the person. If you notice you're going to the bathroom a lot, then you're probably drinking too much water and not getting enough minerals.
Okay, thank you, thank you. The website for EcoSevi was sent in the chat. I'll send it again so that you have it. Here it is again. A question that we have is, do you recommend sauna to sweat impurities?
Oh, saunas are awesome. I just don't not attracted to them in the summertime. Like I sit outside, a lot. Like I'll go outside. I like doing that. It's important. It's really important to get like vitamin D. Vitamin D is not just like for calcium retention, or things like that. Vitamin D, like, like helps support like your brain function and everything. I mean, there's a lot, and hormone regulations. It's an important thing to have, and like the sun is like the most natural source of vitamin D. If you're not getting it naturally, then like you're getting it unnaturally. Does it say what company? There was a question on the bottom of the chat, but I didn't see what it said.
EcoSevi is the brand for the skincare products that Susan was mentioning.
Yeah, I like that, and then I like the oils from Trusted Healthcare, and I use the tooth oil all the time. It Pretty much everything I recommend has been tried, true, and tested. So, like, I like Ecosevi's. I've been using the shampoo for years. It doesn't really like lather or anything. Mm.
Do we have any other questions? Once again, if you have a question, you can just check here. You can use the raise hand feature. You can unmute yourself, and you can also submit directly to the chat. because we're coming in for a landing right now on time. It's almost 7:30 Eastern, so I want to
Yeah,
make.
she does shampoos too. You have to like research. I like the pumpkin seed, and then I have the marshmallow.
Okay, do you recommend wearing sunscreen-proof clothing?
Oh, I do not. I that just like creeps me out a little bit. I don't know why. Just like the clothes that are gonna measure your heart rate and stuff like that. No, no thanks. I don't wear any of those like bands or anything like that, the Fitbits or the Apple Watches or anything, because it's just like directly exposing yourself to EMFs and radiation. Um, for sunscreen, you want like so. This is I have like a 40 proof here. That's a kid's or a 50 proof and 30 proof. But then there's like, you want at least like a 30 proof because like less than that's really kind of like not going to do much of anything. So no, like there's no, honest to God, I've spent like a couple days like on a sailboat where we like sailed like to across like the Chesapeake and I just like wore something like this and a bathing suit top underneath, and I didn't get burned at all. And I didn't even, like, I don't even think I sunscreened my arms or anything like that. I may have sunscreened from my knees on down because I wore like longer linen shorts and the back of your knees, the back of your knees can sun and my feet. First, I forgot to do my feet, but yeah, uh, what about vitamin D supplements? Vitamin D supplements, yeah, um, they're fine to take. Um, my two, I do like a lot of the things from the Health Ranger store because like he has something called Sun Drops, and I think that's from Global Healing. It's the same company that does. Give me 1 minute, and then I'll grab the thing. I get my vitamin D from or the B12 rather from the Health Ranger store. I don't really take vitamin D so much in the summertime because I'm outside a lot, but the company it's from the Health Ranger store and it's called Global Healing. So all the labels look very similar, but they do something called sun gold and it has vitamin D3 K2 in it. That's a really good one. I like the tinctures better because I think you can absorb them a little bit better and you can like put them in juice or like a smoothie or something. This one actually tastes good. But this is something that it was a free gift from the Health Ranger store because like when I order something, I'll order more than one. Yeah, so this was a free gift. And it's different mineral drops, and I can't, I'd have to like turn on my phone to see what's in it. But this works really well too. I don't know. I don't know if you can see in the screen, if you can blow it up, what that is. It's in there, but I wouldn't have ordered this, but like I said, it was a free gift because uh, I had ordered a couple things because you get a price break if you order three B12s at once. But that's the sun stuff that I used to get. And I think that's in a little bit of peppermint they put in there. And just like and olive oil. It's in olive oil, like organic olive oil. So like all these like the bases of like the oil that's in there and like they're you can absorb them better because of the oil that's in there. Tehran knows a lot about different like supplements. He's very well versed in that. So we're gonna um, look to do like a seminar where Tehran gives a presentation.
All right. Just checking the chat again here. Did we have maybe one more question for Susan before we come in for a close? Are there certain herbs that you pay more attention to in the summer?
Oh, if it grows, I'll eat it. Um, there's just ones that I like better. So I love any form of basil. I love things from the mint family. So I have Thai basil growing, I have lemon basil growing, I have regular sweet basil growing. I have huge things of green shiso. Some of the red shiso's there, but that you have to like dry out and salt and pickle it, so I don't eat that, but I do eat the green shiso, and somehow it just overpopulated the backyard. But the cats like to sit underneath that too, and it doesn't hurt them or anything. Like if they ate that, that was fine. Of course, then cat mint or catnip, I don't eat that, but they like it. They don't even really eat it so much, but they like to like sit under it. So it's kind of interesting. The shiso, the green shiso, to eat that, it's really good. So I haven't done very well with parsley. I love parsley, and the beginning part of summer, cilantro was growing well, but then like it just like it comes to a point where it doesn't. It bolts. I keep the flowers there because it attracts bees, and wait till like all the seeds dry out, and then I just let it go. And that's what I don't like, chop off my seeds so that where it lands, and if it comes up, great. um, I have something that recently I was trying some like herbal flower thing. It's just like some herbal flower, like kidney support thing that I thought I'd like just give a try. So that was from the Health Ranger too. That is, yeah, this just has like three different like flowers and type in. So it's like some kidney. Um, it says I have this like that, yeah, kidney health. So it's just, like a relaxing type of herbal thing that I've tried from time to time. I kind of tend to more of like the natural things like that. I prefer like little tinctures as opposed to, like taking a pill. But yeah, you can get tinctures of zinc too. Zinc is something that, like you want to pay attention to because that's like good for your immune system. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Aaron. It's good to see you.
All right. Well, the time is now a little bit past 7:30 Eastern. So I definitely want to thank everyone who was able to take part in the presentation for tonight. Thank you to all who were able to register. I know we have a number of people who did not join the live, but I know they're going to be watching for the recording. So we will, what today is Wednesday, I will do my best to have this available by, I would say, Friday evening. I'll send that recording out in a follow-up email with maybe some additional information and links that you can check out for things that are coming up. It's also going to be, of course, uploaded on YouTube, so you'll see it there pop up first, probably before you get the email. So, I think that's probably everything. Once again, we thank you so much for this. If you enjoyed this presentation, we do, as I mentioned in the very beginning at the onset, try to offer as many of these type of
Aw.
presentations as possible. We appreciate all support that we're able to receive on the back end that allows us to continue offering this vital content. So if anyone, at this time, if you want to unmute, in the chat, you can share your appreciation to Susan. We'll come in for a close for tonight. So thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
so
you.
much, Susan. Thank you, Susan and
Yeah,
Tehran.
thank
It was
you. Thank you.
excellent. Mwah.
Thank
Love
you.
you both.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to like when we had the like, or year-long certification courses, I would teach like these extensive things on home remedies. And like, so half of them was like, that we extended it to like two, like full, like, like at least like 6 7 hours of it, just because like one was just dedicated to like, like external remedies, and the other one was
Oh,
dedicated to like internal remedies,
oh,
because
bless you.
there's so many things that you can take care of, like naturally, that,
Yeah.
and
Thank
some
you
of
again.
them I learned that they were just like, like things that I learned from my mom or my grandparents.
Mm,
So
I'm going to get out.
pay attention to them.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Take care.